they've been rewarded. Hooker Rory Best plays for the first time since breaking his arm against the All Blacks in November, while captain Johan Muller is fit to go despite concerns over his calf muscle injury. It's the same back line which started against Munster 7 days ago. 3 alterations though to the pack. Best and Muller I've already told you about. Nick Williams is at number 8 at the expense of Roger Wilson. If Fabien Galtier had a full squad to choose from, it's entirely possible none of these names would be in a first-choice starting 15. Even so, the Montpellier pack is one to be reckoned with. The front 5 are huge, if not necessarily the most mobile, and there's quality in the back row. Johnny Beattie's career has been given new life in France. Kellyan Galetier is just 21 and very highly regarded. The youngsters are at 9 and 10. Eric Escon gets his first start. The wing, Lucas Dupont, has already caught the eye of the France coach. The depth of Ulster's resources is reflected on their bench. Declan Fitzpatrick played for Ireland in November against New Zealand. Montpellier's bench includes Timothy Nangusa, who scored a try on his Heineken Cup debut more than 5 years ago when he was playing for Ulster. So Ulster, finalists 2 years ago. They've reached the quarterfinals for the last 3 seasons. But the contrast with these men couldn't be more stark. Ulster, a full house of wins so far in Europe. They're handily placed in the Pro 12. As for Montpellier, they've gone flat in the Heineken and they're falling short in the top 14. So Tyrone, there really is an opportunity here, not only for the win for Ulster, but the full 5 points.
Yeah, no likelihood. The war for Pool 5 is going to be waged and won next week at Welford Road. There's a battle still to win here for Ulster to get there. They've got to go through the process, the performance. Johnny Beattie, you see him leading the Montpellier side out. He's going to have a massive game because it's undoubtedly a weakened side they've sent here. They're out of the competition, but equally Ulster, they've got to produce a performance. And for Mark Anston, it's just about winning match after match, looking no further ahead than this evening, and Ulster know they have to produce a performance, otherwise this is potentially a big banana skin.
No hint of complacency though about the men in white, led out by Johan Muller. They are a club though who now see themselves as part of Europe's top tier, and the evidence of that ambition springing along all 4 sides of Ravenhill. And when they come out into the light, they will hit the roar and the traditional song. Well, there he is, Rory Best back, and what a night to make his return.
Extraordinary, well ahead of schedule, coming back after that broken arm against the All Blacks. The player who's been deputising for him, Rob Herring, has had a superb couple of games, but leadership, experience coming back on the pitch in the form of Rory Best.
So there he is, Johan Muller, who's been waging his own battle for fitness. That calf injury has been troubling him for a number of weeks now. Wasn't involved a week ago on this ground against Munster, but fit to go tonight. Here's the referee. It really is a first-class team in every department tonight, including the referee, Wayne Barnes, the television match official, Sean Davey. So Montpellier playing from left to right in their European strip, and it's Enzo Salponi, the youngster, just 20. He was involved with France's under-20 campaign at the Junior World Championship last summer in Nantes. There's Ruben Pinard. Beattie, familiar position, hanging back there. Beattie, the captain, by the way, tonight. Originally, Charles Gelly was named as the team leader, but it is Beattie who now has that responsibility, and that's a measure of just how far he's come with Montpellier in his 2 seasons.
Terrific start from Ulster. Good, clean take off the kickoff. Solid defensive line, takes him back up to the halfway line. This performance tonight, if it's to come, is going to start with the defence. You can sense an intensity from a side with the aggression and the speed they come up off the line. Ulster be very keen to stamp their authority early in this game.
The stadium here not due for completion until the summer, but someone did say to me yesterday that if Ulster do clinch a home quarter final, overtime will be paid, deadlines brought forward. Imagine that in April. A full house on what is effectively the opening night of the new Ravenhill. So let's see how this front five for Montpellier goes. Of course, no yes 9 from now on. There's Marshall, Pinar looping around, running the ball wide early. Gilroy's in, coming off his wing. Good meters made by Ulster early. Pinar again, on to Jackson. Into one of the big men, that was Dan Toohey. Referee playing advantage here to Ulster. Jackson, there's Arfoa. Out that time it was along to Marshall. They've still got possession here, have Ulster. There is Pinar again. It's a confident start. Nick Williams feeling the force. Pinar again. Across comes Darren Cave. Jelly was one of those who made the tackle, but I think one of the Montpellier men may well have taken a knock. It looks a bit like Kellyan Galetier, the youngster, who may need some treatment.
Well, when you look at the shape of the Montpellier front five, there's a lot of ballast there. No surprise maybe that Ulster using the full width of the pitch, using both touchlines there. I think they really want to start off with tempo, lots of energy, stretch this side and back themselves, that if they can play with pace and tempo over 80 minutes, that they will find the gaps and they'll break through this defensive line. But you know, so far you saw the double tackle coming in and Nick Williams there. Big ball carrier coming back for Ulster.
Well, there is Kellyan Galetier, just 21, who's filling the gap left by the absence, and it's a huge gap. Push on to Ouedraogo. Ouedraogo, the captain, who underwent a second operation on his damaged shoulder a couple of weeks ago. Play will carry on. Ruben Pinar, who assumed the place-kicking duties over the past 3 weeks. Swinging it wide of the left-hand upright. Uncharacteristic miss there from the World Cup winner.
You can hear the disappointment in the crowd. Pinar kicked 7 last week against Munster, including one superb effort from the touchline. The expectation would be for him to get that.
Well, a change has been made by Montpellier. On has come Fred Kersey, who is on. That says Ivan Watremez, but I think it's Kersey who's actually on the pitch. Kellyan Galetier has gone off. And the way Galetier is moving off, I suspect he may not be back. So here is Selponi. He's gone long. There's Jackson. He's up there a long time. And that was well taken by the young man Selponi. That will do wonders for his confidence. Among the missing for this evening, or this evening for Montpellier, Francois Trunduc.
Away from the ball, number 8.
Williams has been penalised.
Williams just didn't let go of the ball on the ground there, was competing for it, thought he might have had a chance for it to come back on his side. But it's actually turned into a lovely evening. No wind here at all at Ravenhill, and the day didn't start like this. Blustery, the rain coming down all day, just dried up just in time, and I think that will certainly please Ulster in terms of the style of rugby they'll want to play, but they'll have to deal with this big, physical Montpellier pack first of all. And it'll be interesting to see how that young man, Enzo Selponi, 20 years of age, in the 10 shirt for Montpellier. Big test for him this evening.
So Charles Jelly at hooker, formerly of Perpignan, learned his rugby in the Toulouse Academy, like so many players, many of whom never really make the breakthrough at Toulouse, but go on to make solid careers elsewhere. Charles Gelly certainly ticks that box. Maximiliano Bustos on the tight head side tonight for Montpellier. And Ulster guilty of dragging it down.
If you want the rights of a more, you have to then keep it up.
Second penalty in as many minutes from Nick Williams. He was gesturing to Wayne Barnes. Could he get involved, try and make a nuisance of himself?
Great catch in the line out there by Alexandre Bias. Tremendous story, Bias. He's a cancer survivor. Had a good professional career, then he had to take a couple of years out of the sport, got his opportunity back with Brive. And now really playing for one of the top dogs in French rugby. Eric Esconde has the kicking duties. Left-footed kicker. Will remind you quite a bit of Jean-Marc Toussaint. This really, I would suggest, at the full extent of his range. Well, it was, wasn't it? Just over. Good kick there from Esconde.
That'll give huge encouragement and heart to this Montpellier side, but I thought Mark Anscombe will be fuming. Just under 7 minutes gone, 3 points down, 3 unnecessary penalties. Ulster have got to keep their discipline.
Well, I can clarify a bit of confusion over the replacement there. It is Fred Kersey who's on. I know we showed a graphic saying it was Yvonne Watremez. Well, the reason is this. Kersey came on with the wrong shirt. He was wearing 19. He's had to leave the pitch. He's gone back. He's given the 19 back. He's now back wearing the 20, which he should be wearing, but there's a problem. And in comes Artru. Little too ambitious that time from Ulster. There goes Esconde. Referee says the advantage is over. There's Robbins, Charlie Watchu. He's a massive second row tonight for Montpellier with Charlie Watchu and also Michael DeMarco. There goes Kersey, the new man, with his new shirt. Esconde, change of direction from Sol Pony. Here's Thomas Combazu. He was cut down by Williams. Gelly guilty of coming in from the side.
Well, they switched it to the short side. And looking up, there are only 2 Montpellier players. All of a sudden, Ulster had the numbers in defence. Absolutely scythed down Montpellier attacker. And a great awareness from Pienaar. They're taking a quick kick. Nobody at home.
And sharp vision, wasn't it? And there is Thomas Combazu being scythed by the Ulster number 8. Nick Williams missed 6 matches with a calf injury. Returned as a replacement last week in the win on this ground against Munster.
Encore, couloir, couloir.
Michael DeMarco just being waved back to ensure that we've got that gap. That was Muller with a two-handed take. There goes Marshall. Takes play inside the Montpellier 22. Williams has spilt it forward. Chance perhaps here. Well, there was a second knock-on. Perhaps understandable that players like Nick Williams are a little ring-rusty.
Yeah, there are quite a few players in this pack. Not that much rugby under their belts. Just trying to feel their way into the game.
Same on there.
Ulster will be the first team to qualify for the quarterfinals. If they win here with a bonus point, it will guarantee them at least one of the 2 best runners-up spots. The resolution of who will win Pool 5 likely to go all the way to next weekend, and what promises to be a cracking contest at Welford Road. Leicester against Ulster. Leicester up against Treviso tomorrow. You can catch that on the red button at the same time as another glorious contest. Harlequins against Clermont-Auvergne. They're happening everywhere. And occasionally simultaneously.
Bind!
Tom Court on the loose head side for Ulster, on his way next season to the Aviva Premiership. Escond with the put-in. There's Escond, on to Selponi, who has a bit of time. It came a little off the outside of the boot, but it was the spiral kick which came back.
I think Tigers players and supporters will be looking on with interest. That victory for the Tigers in Montpellier really just hands, I don't know who it hands advantage to, but certainly these two sides meeting in round 6 at Welford Road, Tigers will fancy their chances there. But maybe even more importantly, it was the bonus point, the losing bonus point that Tigers got here in round 1, which really has thrown the lifeline.
Here's that late penalty, Owen Williams. Pinner onto Jackson. Jackson saw just the opportunity of a gap there. Well, it will be an Ulster put-in.
Well, it's an Ulster put-in, but it's been scrappy. Scrappy by Ulster, not playing with the same fluidity. Ironically, it was against this side. Probably Ulster's best and most complete performance came so far this season. An amazing victory over in the south of France, but line out scrappy. Pinard's having to fire that out. Jackson doesn't really want to take that into contact, but no choice because the Montpellier side, well, they've been certainly competitive and combative in these opening 11 minutes.
Well, part of the challenge this week for Ulster is they will have picked up news on social media of how Fabien Galtier is picking essentially a second string 15, newspaper stories to back that up. Meanwhile, the coaching staff will be saying, look, you're up against a club here put together on an overall budget of 20 million euros. They've got a deep, deep squad. Controlled well by Williams there at the base. There goes Pinner. Driven back. Tom Court. Feeds on there to Tui. Good tackle there from Selponi. Williams to Henry. Is Marshall, Darren Cave, Gilroy. Gilroy meeting a very solid object there in midfield. Well, have Montpellier turned it? No, they haven't. It's come the way of Pinard, the floated pass out to Arfoa. Williams, the battering ram. Well, there's another Montpellier player down at the moment. Looks like Robin's Charlie Watchu who's taken a knock. There goes Court. Escond with a fly hack. Gilroy with a pickup.
Well, if Ulster thought that this was a weakened side on paper, and they just turn up here to make the numbers, just look at this back line coming up. Montpellier up so quickly, hitting Ulster maybe 5 yards behind the gain line. The big names may not be there, but the heart certainly is so far from this French side.
Well, there is Fabien Galtier, who recently signed a contract extension to stay down at Montpellier. That after, over the course of the last few months, there have been speculation that he might have been the man lined up to replace Vern Cotter at Clermont-Auvergne. There's always talk around him about the French job as well. But the pressure is really on at Montpellier at the moment. They are effectively out of the main European competition, and they're also battling at home as well. They're out of the top 6 spots at the moment. They've lost 6 of the last 7 matches. Beaten in a match they should have won last weekend at Brive. Confidence must be low. Well, this is a worrying sight for followers of Montpellier. Robbins, Charlie Watchu, they haven't got a replacement lock on the bench. And there isn't an obvious candidate elsewhere. I do wonder if maybe Alexandre Bias might have to step up. So 3 points to 0. Montpellier have the lead. Let's take a look at how, in its early days, of course, how things stand in Pool 5. Well, Ulster, of course, would be on top, 19 points. They would have a losing bonus point if it stays as it is now. Leicester just 4 points behind. They're up against Treviso tomorrow. Well, Pool 5, it is a 2-horse race, but it is intriguing.
If somebody told me that Ulster were 1-33 against that they would lose here this evening, but they're going to have to tighten their game up, get the platform better. The scrum has come under pressure, but isolated Pinar on that last one, and Gilroy came in to try and help them out. Scrum, the set piece, the foundations have to be there.
Yes, 33 to 1 on. 100 of your pounds to make 3 for me. Not generous odds.
Came out.
Early stages, of course, in the 14th minute, but a penalty from Eric Escond separates the sides at the moment. If you look at this Ulster starting 15, Tyrone, with the exception really of Tommy Bowe, very close to full strength, may not be at its peak as a unit. However, the names are there, aren't they?
I was just thinking exactly the same, and you look at the Montpellier side, they have 4 from the side that lost to Ulster over there, so certainly this is almost as close to a first choice side as Ulster could get. Formidable on paper, but just haven't really been able to join up the dots between all the numbers in the shirts so far.
And the news about Tommy Bowe is good. We're expecting him back fairly soon. He's at the ground tonight. That was taken forward by the captain for the night, BT. There's Escond, the young scrum half. It's another penalty. Well, this may well be one for Anthony Flosh, I think.
Well, again, silly penalties, giving cheap opportunities for points. And so far, Montpellier with ball in hand haven't really threatened to create too much. Look at that, it's slow ball, it's been contested. Not coming up with too many questions, but Wayne Barnes rightly penalising Ulster. It's going to be strict at the breakdown, and you've got to play the 16th man, you've got to respond to what he's saying. And so far, Ulster really not helping themselves.
Well, I said it might be one for Anthony Flosh. The moment I said that, Flosh moved from the full-back position, ran straight to where the penalty is located, was expecting to get the call, but they've handed it to Escond. Well, if the first one was at the limit of his range, this one's certainly testing it too. Escond has got hold of it, and that time it did just fall short. Perhaps it should have been one for Anthony Flosh.
A big let off there. And you hear the crowd have been muted in these last 10 minutes. Just trying to urge the Ulster side on, but certainly nerves. I don't know what it is, but certainly playing tentatively.
There's the catch by Dupont. Flosh up into the night sky. The ball's gone forward off an Ulster hand. There's Escond, wrapped up by Jackson. There's Charles Jelly. He's got the support of Bustos alongside him.
Tackle!
Escond again onto Lele Malafanga. He's a Samoa international, taking play up to within 3 or 4 metres of the 22. Jelly standing off again, there he is. Good drive there for Montpellier. Escond. That was Fred Keasi. Here's Bias. Back here's going to come the attempt at the drop. And that is pushed wide by Enzo Salponi.
But again, Montpellier, that tight driving game, breaking the gain line. The young scrum half, Escond, has done very well so far. First start of the season. And this may well be how Montpellier will try and play this game. Just try and get down into Ulster's half. Work hard through the pack and just pick off 3 points here, 3 points there, the odd drop goal. Just try and build some sort of scoreline that puts the pressure on Ulster. And all the pressure is on Ulster this evening. Home, all the expectations are on them.
Salponi again with the high ball. That was well taken by Jared Payne. Payne has shown his class in recent weeks. Great counter-attacking fullback. Ball lost forward there in the contact. Bustos, the Puma. Escond again, who's effectively the number 3 scrum half at Montpellier. Jonathan Pelissier injured at the moment. There's Tutavaki, the All Black. He loses it, it's turned over. That was well gathered by Payne. Jackson into space. Across Scottle's Flosh. Took that well, the fullback. He's a man with something to prove. You'll have read in the last week that Benjamin Fowl is on his way down next season from Racing Metro. Well, the kick in the end proves a good one. Pinard didn't go for touch. There's Pony, the little chip ahead. Well gathered by the fly half. Tremendous skill. Then there was the offload, and Artru almost had it. Well, it's harum-scarum stuff, isn't it? Here's Jackson. Pinard flips it back. Onto Tui. Taking play just outside the Ulster 22. 19 minutes gone. It's still Montpellier who have the lead. Both sides have missed penalty attempts. Paddy Jackson. Is there a name on it? There is. And that's a wonderful catch. That time from Trimble. Pinard kicks, there's a bit of space. Well, you could see the appeal from Anthony Flosh claiming that it was directly into touch, but the assistant referee didn't agree.
Well, you described it as harum-scarum rugby, and it is. But from an Ulster point of view, it's being played in completely the wrong part of the pitch. Inside or just outside the 22, but a little moment of real class has offered Ulster the opportunity to now get deep down. Andrew Trimble, terrific catch under the high ball, and Pinard making up for his earlier mistake, just putting the ball back down behind and giving Ulster a very good territorial position now. They've spent very little time in this Montpellier half so far.
Yes, the name of David Humphreys removed at least once from the record books tonight. Andrew Trimble making his 58th Heineken Cup appearance tonight for Ulster. They had a new record here. Almost stolen in the line out there. Just a bit of confusion about the numbers. And it's so noisy over there, Charles Jelly can't get the call. Taken by Bias. Escond. That's for Artru to go after. Comfortable for Trimble. Here goes Payne, always wears that dark skin underneath his Ulster jersey, always easy to recognise. That was Williams. Pinard. Jackson with a change of direction. Hanging back again is Beattie. Beattie onto the left foot.
Recule.
Well, that's as high a kick as we've seen all night. Another solid catch from Trimble. Gilroy coming through. Trimble again. Onto Dyack. Into the Montpellier half. Did the ball go forward? The referee says no. Williams that time. The chip through from Pinard. And Flosh was well positioned. Gilroy again. Well, he can't turn away from this. May not be happening in the right areas for Ulster. Escon caught by Gilroy just outside his 22. Well, the Montpellier numbers have arrived.
Use it!
And it's Flosh who plays scrum half. That's not in touch, it just finds Jared Payne. There'll be an opportunity to take a deep breath in a moment for us and them. Here goes Trimble. Pinard onto Jackson. Payne drifting across field. Charlie Watchu and his friends making the tackle that time. There's a little dab over the top. Well, the scone was back. And then there's the knock-on from Montpellier.
He's not offside, it's open play, knock on.
Well, there's been plenty of rugby, but so far, no real gaps created by both sides. Paddy Jackson spotting them, going over the top, going area, little chip, and chasing, and just being slightly shoulder charged out of it there. But it's credit to this Montpellier defence coming up very hard, coming up together, chasing their kicks, not just in 2s and 3s, but you're seeing a black line of 5 and 6, making it difficult. Ulster a very good counter-attacking side.
Well, Escon was a little bit lucky maybe to get away with that, was he? Jackson has shown, I beg your pardon, Tyrone. Jackson has shown, hasn't he, throughout this competition so far, What delightful feet he's got.
Was really developing, really coming of age. You remember a couple of seasons ago when Ulster played in the final, when they got through to the final against Leinster, and really had a poor day, but it almost was the making of him. From that moment on, he just grew and grew, and it's come through work ethic and talent. And you know, the big question was, to what extent did he want it? To what extent was he prepared to put the hard work in? And I think he's really pleased the coaches and management here with the attitude that he's brought.
Yes, very early in his career it was a fork in the road, wasn't it? But he took the right route. 23 minutes down at Ravenhill. Montpellier still lead, 3 points to 0.
Use it!
Williams gets the instruction to use it. Pinar in a bit of space, there's Payne. Good tackle from Tuatavaki. Williams again. He will try and bludgeon holes in this Montpellier defence all night. There's one of those cross kicks. Dyack. Oh, he's taken it as Dyack. Can he get there? I think he can.
I just want to check about that play being an onside position. It was very tight from my view.
Well, Wayne Barnes is going to pass this on to the television match official. The question mark is about offside.
If he's clearly in front of the kicker or not. Then just double check the grounding.
Well, the Montpellier defence came up really hard in the middle of the pitch, tried to close that corner, and great vision, because flooding the middle of the pitch, they allowed space on the outside. Look at this, there's 6 players coming up trying to force the inside pass, but instead, masses of space, and this is just size factor. It's Dyack against Dupont, not the biggest in the world, and I think Dyack's done well there. It's going to be a question of whether he is onside.
Well, that angle is not going to show us too much, I'm afraid, is it?
It's a great take, because it was flying away from out to the left.
And the flight of that ball, it wouldn't have worked had it had less speed and a steeper trajectory. It's perfect stuff.
Terrific take, and from this is just attitude and desire.
Okay, Wayne.
Yeah, go ahead, mate.
Yeah, there's nothing conclusive, but the grounding is good, so you may award the try.
Thank you.
Ulster in front. And there is the try scorer, Robbie Dyack.
A superb finish from Dyack, superb vision and execution from Paddy Jackson. But it certainly papers over a few cracks in this Ulster performance in the last 24 minutes, but the crowd don't mind. They've got their noses in front, they're beginning to feel their way into the game. Passes beginning to stick, ball carriers beginning to get over the gain line.
Well, one miss is rarely followed by another when it comes to Ruan Pinar.
Well, I suppose the only way to follow up a moment of class like that is to follow it with another moment of class from the boot of Pinar. Superb, split the posts. Terrific finish from Dyack.
Well, you were talking up Paddy Jackson a couple of minutes before that. His timing as good as yours. Well, will that have settled the nerves for Ulster? The first 23 minutes or so, not their best of the season, but now they have the try, they have the lead. Marshall, Jackson, Cave. Sees there's nothing on, apart from the kick ahead, back goes Flosh. And Flosh had read it, and he's also got plenty of pace as well.
But you do sense that has really given a little bit of impetus, both to the crowd and the players, just zipping the ball across. They'll be still very keen to play in the wide channels, just put themselves in positions where they can put pressure on the Montpellier side.
Yes, to give you some idea of the pulling power that Montpellier have, story in Midi Olympique the French rugby newspaper this morning, which follows a lot of rumblings elsewhere, that the Wallabies captain Ben Mohm may well be a Montpellier player next season. Well, there goes Henry. Pienaar off the outside of the boot. Another one to chase. Oh, and there's an opportunity here in the pick-up. And there is the try. And it's gone to Ruben Pienaar. Well, the match has been transformed in 3 minutes.
Well, there was nobody at home, and that was because the opportunity was given by Anthony Flosh. Did not pick that high ball up at all well. Handed the turnover. Pienaar knows he's not at home, and it's the bounce of a rugby ball.
Well, you have to feel for Lucas Dupont, don't you? 2 minutes ago, he couldn't apprehend Robbie Dyack, and this time it's about fielding the ball.
Well, he's chasing back, and there were players all over him. The ball didn't bounce kindly for him. But as you say, the whole complexion of the game in a matter of a couple of minutes totally changed now.
Well, not half an hour gone, but Ulster already halfway to the try bonus point.
You see Flosh coming up here, makes a meal of that, needs to claim that, immediately hands the advantage back to Chris Henry. And the big difference in these last couple of minutes has been the experience and the skill of the Ulster halfbacks, Paddy Jackson and Pienaar, really showing their wares here against a very inexperienced 21 and 20-year-old.
Well, Salponi went the short route that time. Here's Tuatavaki.
Tackle!
Oh, the ball's there and it's gone. He hadn't noticed that it fired to the side of his right foot. Oh, Payne had to shovel that on quickly. Back goes Cave. Cave is caught that time by Dupont. Pienaar. Back is Beattie. Well position kick. Henry was straight through, and look at the white jerseys now. They're outnumbering the Montpellier ones. But it's Ulster who are penalised.
Well, it's Nick Williams again.
Okay, thank you, we agree. 4 penalties.
Johan Muller didn't need it telling, did he?
Well, he knew there was
How easy to run.
one made the tackle. There were 3 white shirts around Johnny Beattie. The hunger is back in this Ulster side. But Nick Williams, the wrong side of the ball, and not making enough effort to get onside.
Well, Montpellier have only got 2 locks in their 23, and now the second of them getting treatment. This is Michael DeMarco.
A few little mistakes that seem to be Ulster's performance in the opening 29 minutes. Now just filtering through in the Montpellier play. Little knock-ons, ball not coming back cleanly at the ruck. And Ulster look as if they now want to take advantage of that.
Yes, Wayne Barnes made the point that that's 4 penalties. Well, he could have said 3 penalties to Nick Williams, 1 to the other 14. Here's Salponi. Well, as soon as Salponi kicked that, he appeared to grimace, and he's in some discomfort, I think.
Well, I think he's in discomfort because of the lack of distance that he got. Needed to put that deep into the Ulster 22 instead. Just inside the Ulster 10-metre line.
Well, the captain takes it. That was Johnny Beattie. Here's Charles Gelly. There's Williams. Look at him. The head bouncing around. Very difficult man to miss, Nick Williams. Oh, and here goes Gelly. And Jelly's in space. It's Gelly up against Gilroy. Well, he took a couple of steps back, did Gilroy, but he took him down. There's Escon looping it out to Charlie Wachu. Well, just when you maybe thought that the Montpellier heads had dropped, out sprung Charles Jelly.
Great character. Ulster thought they were competing well. Gilroy did well, but great recycling the ball and plenty of numbers in the short side. And one of the areas that Ulster have struggled in recently, and in particular against Munster last week, was the driving maul, how to defend it, and they probably practice it hugely this week. Nick Williams in the middle of it there, but not together, allowing Montpellier just to burst through the middle.
So something to think about there for Jan Muller. Robin's Charlie Wachu, the try scorer. Former Perpignan, of course, always seemed to be having a running battle with Jamie Cudmore during his times at Perpignan. But scoring a try, and here is Escond. One success already. And now he's landed a second. Well, it's quite a match. 24 points in the first 31 minutes.
And certainly we have a contest, and as you say, it is good for the match. Not sure the Ulster supporters will feel quite that way. Great pickup, lovely offload over the top. And for a big man, Charlie Wachu, he gets around.
Well, there is Escond. Just to reiterate the point which Tyrone made earlier, it's his first start of the season for Montpellier. Jonathan Pelissier is injured. He picked up a shoulder injury against Toulon 3 weeks or so ago. Benoit Payog limped up against Brive last weekend, although he is here on the bench, and that was a bit loose. Jackson did well to gather it. Here's Payne, the floated pass, that's superb. Eventually, Darren Cave took it after a bit of juggling. Oh, they need a scrum half. There's Paddy Jackson. Trimble, the inside ball. And it's the try scorer Charlie Wachu who falls on it. Escond there with the left foot. The catch from Jared Payne. Here's Gilroy again, just spinning through the tackle. Marshall into Montpellier territory. There's Ofoa, cries of offside from off the pitch and on it. Jackson, that's not quite enough depth on that one, but it's put down by BT.
Line up, off the chest.
Plenty of cries for offside. I think it was Salponi shot out of the line. He seems to have suffered for it.
They were looking, remember they're just flying up at 13, that's their choice.
Well, I did say he was grimacing with pain. It's the shoulder or the arm after he took that last penalty. And Enzo Salponi may not be able to carry on. Well, he is for now, but it looks like that left forearm, in fact.
Xavier Montenot.
Yes, he's certainly taken a bit of a stinger as the young fly half. They do have Benoit Payog on the bench. He's played a bit of rugby at fly half.
You just see him there, just crept out. Pinar point shows it to Wayne Barnes. The crowd showed him. Ulster still going for these 50-50s, not sticking yet. Trimble trying to pop it out of the tackle.
Advantage being played here to Ulster.
Doing a mark on a 10-metre rig when necessary.
Rory Best has got it there. He's got his eyes up.
No advantage. Thanks, mate.
Well, penalty, what, 42, 43 metres out, something like that. Just 4 points in the match. Johan Muller takes the pragmatic option, the only option.
Well, not much more than 5 minutes to go to half-time. This will just give an opportunity just to put their noses a little bit further in front. I think a lot of people before this game were chatting about a win and a bonus point, getting to 23 points, guaranteed qualification, even if it is in second place.
glad we agreed on the tackle as
But
well.
no chat about that from Mark Anscombe. All about the win, he believes. 6 wins out of 6. You go through in first place. Quite uncomplicated, straightforward from the Kiwi.
And Ulster will take it step by step tonight. The win first, then they'll look at the bonus point. But there will be plenty of eyes watching this in the East Midlands of England. And there'll be a fair few watching from Italy as well. Leicester in action tomorrow afternoon at Treviso. Well, it took him one kick to get his line and length right. But the normal service very much resumed.
Well, the Tigers may be watching this with interest, but if they can do the job tomorrow, they will look forward to welcoming Ulster next week. Huge resilience and character shown over in France. May not be the greatest Tiger side, but my goodness, huge character.
And there is Pinar again.
Forwards, wait!
Played in so many different positions at international level. Full-back, fly half, scrum half. Even been in the centre and on the wing before for the Springboks. Has been said that maybe his versatility hasn't always worked in his favour. Well, there goes the replacement, Kersey. Kersey, who's hardly been seen at all playing for Montpellier this season. Very rarely in the 23. Taken on by Bustos, the Argentinian. There goes Lele Malafanga. Alexandre Bias. Esconde again. Selponi. Just looking for the little pop pass, and Selponi again taking a while to get to his feet. He's holding that forearm. Yes, Selponi's in real discomfort. The clearance kick from Pinar. Here's Anthony Flosh. Straight into Arfoa and also Tui. Esconde looks up, sees a gap, can't find it though. Comfortable catch for Jackson.
That's 2 poor choices from Esconde. First of all, the attempted drop goal really ran out of options, and then that kick over the top just too far. Ulster, the thing I suppose that marks out these last 10-15 minutes, they played most of the rugby back down in this Montpellier half. They've got themselves into positions where they can pick up some points.
Yes, I've been keeping an eye on Enzo Selponi, who's such a key figure tonight for Montpellier, and he's wincing all the time. There he is. It's the left forearm which is causing the troubles.
Yeah, it will be, yeah. We'll just make sure we've got everyone now.
There you can see. Will he come out in the second half? I doubt it. Payog is stripping off.
Also calls into question
This replacement.
the replacements and the arrangement of replacements on this Montpellier side. Payog, not the most natural of 10s. They got fullback and wings, and Nagusa and Pierre as well.
Well, that is as it stands now. That's Ulster winning, but without the try bonus point. It'll be a 7-point lead over Leicester. Leicester in Treviso tomorrow. And, well, it'll ramp up the pressure on Leicester, which is already there to get the 5 points, but it will have such an impact on the way both sides approach the match next week at Welford Road.
Watch out.
Things other than simply the result tonight to focus on. But believe me, the coaching staff at Ulster, the first instruction to Ulster will be get the win. Let's worry about the bonus point when we've got a bit of breathing space, and they haven't really got it at the moment.
Forwards, wait.
Pina.
Yeah.
Esconde is back. Well, he knew that bearing down and then was Luke Marshall. Penalty to Montpellier.
I think once again Marshall did so well, just wrapped him up, and also bought an extra second or two for a few more players to get involved. If you watch Marshall again, the body, once he hits the ground the wrong side, not making enough of an effort to roll away.
He's a full 15 stones or more, isn't he, Luke Marshall? A very solidly built customer. Big barrel chest.
And the combination between Marshall and Cave in the centres, also getting an opportunity to flow and to develop. Last couple of games spent together.
So we're in the final minute of this first half. And Montpellier, right at the end of the half, will have a chance to narrow the deficit to 4 points. Eric Escond has grabbed the ball. It is again close to the limit of his range. Got another Montpellier player down. Looks like Alexander Bias this time.
Well, I think when the Ulster players look back at this first half, they will note they have not played well these opening 39 or 40 minutes. Frustration there, too many mistakes, too many penalties as well. And really it was a moment of magic from Jackson, a terrific catch and finish from Dyack, and then Anthony Flosh giving the ball over to Chris Henry, and great vision from Pinar and the bounce of a ball. But apart from that, it's been sticky, lumpy, not been smooth play really from Ulster, but they have 2 tries in the bank. They're in the lead. And I think after this first half performance, they'll take that.
Yes, 37 minutes in which Montpellier have more than held their own. But 3 gilt-edged minutes for Ulster. Escond, no problems with the distance this time. And no problem with the line either. So Eric Escond, who's had a pretty good first 40. His first 40 of the season for Montpellier. Ulster, they need 5 points tonight to guarantee their place in the quarterfinals. Well, at half-time here, they lead by 17 points to 13.
Well, early on they stuttered and stumbled, Ulster, but they found the right gear through Robbie Dyack and Ruan Pina. Only thing is, it seems that Montpellier are here to play, and they've found their groove as well. It is a 4-point ball game with that late penalty to the visitors, and it is game on at Ravenhill.
Thanks, James. Ulster, the only side left in the Heineken Cup who have won all 4 matches. Well, what's the key, Tyrone, to making it 5 out of 5 in this last 40 minutes? The old P word, patience?
I think the boys in the studio got it absolutely right. Patience. They got to start, get the basics in place. Good set piece. Play the game in the right parts of the pitch and put pressure on. And you know, those 2 tries in the first half, they've got to back themselves to the victory. And one suspects that if they can get the basics right, that as the game wears on, those 2 tries, I'd be confident those 2 tries can come their way. But that last penalty at the end of the first half will make sure there's absolutely no level of complacency. Montpellier have come here to stand up to the fight.
2 new men on the pitch, one an Ulster player, the other a former Ulster player. Timothy Nangusa is on the wing for Montpellier. He's replaced Johan Artrou, who we're told has gone off with a broken tooth. And there's a change at number 8 for Ulster. It's Roger Wilson who's come on and replaced Nick Williams, his first start for a while, lasting 40 minutes. Well, it's a knock-on. There is Roger Wilson, who of course started a final in this competition for Northampton. He's now played more than 100 games for both Ulster and the Saints.
I think that's a good change. Nick Williams looked slightly out of sorts. He'd given away a couple of penalties. Ulster can't afford that. Montpellier too close. And also with ball in hand, a few uncharacteristic errors, usually very safe with ball in hand. It's not that sort of game. Ulster need to be more solid, maybe not risk quite as many 50-50 passes.
Just to reiterate the overall position, Ulster will be the first team to qualify for the quarterfinals if they win here with a try bonus point. It wouldn't guarantee them pool victory, but what it would do is mean that they would guarantee being one of those 2 best runners-up. Of course, their aspirations go beyond that. They'll be looking to not only secure a place in the final 8, but win the pool, and if anything, be one of the best 4 pool winners, so that they get a home quarter-final, which we are assured will be here with a complete stadium. There may be a bit of overtime required, but we are assured that the deadline dates will be brought forward to get this place fully open.
Well, we talked about the necessity of having your set piece going well. The perfect start is to get a penalty at the scrum. First penalty that's come from the scrum. Tight head breaking his bind.
Well, Ruben Pinar missed his first attempt at goal, but now he's looking for a 4th straight success. This to re-establish that 7-point advantage. It's a perfect night for place kicking, not a breath of wind. And it's another one right out of the screws for Ruben Pinar.
Well, it's important for Ulster is that they struck back quickly. It's virtually been immediate. They need to just get that lead beyond 7 points, because if Montpellier can get within 7, they'll back themselves in the last 5-10 minutes just to come up with something. Surprise this Ulster crowd.
Here goes Wilson. And there's Pinar again. He's recommitted himself to Ulster in the last couple of months, after what we're led to believe was a brief flirtation with Mourad Boudjalal and the many thousands on offer in the Côte d'Azur with Toulon.
Tackle only!
There's Charles Jelly, who played a part in that Charlie Wachu try. A fumble from Kersi. Well, it's going to be an Ulster put in. They did well there, did the men in white.
Well, Rory Best got in there, just affecting that choke tackle. Best and Henry combining, keeping him off the ground. Amazing, Rory Best, when he actually took the pitch maybe 20-25 minutes before the game, coming out to warm up. Huge reaction from the crowd that actually was already in here. Hugely popular, and I think they're delighted to see him back on this pitch. Maybe also even more important to get game time for what could be such an important game at Welford Road next weekend.
Set!
Well, Ulster have got 2 men lurking on the blind side here. Jared Payne, well, it's come out of the side there, and that was Bias who had an opportunity, but we'll see it all again.
Non, mais le ballon a continué.
Well, I think there might be another call here from Paddy Jackson, because the way Payne reacted to that, I think that Payne was intended to be the first recipient of that. There is Paddy Jackson.
Well, when Ulster have played their best rugby this season, Jared Payne has got his hands on the ball. He's been the outstanding player so far.
Bind! Set!
Yes, he's a name which perhaps flies under the radar elsewhere, but they love him here. He's a quality player. Oh, Pinar under pressure from Escond, gathered by Jackson. Here is Payne. His route blocked there by Dupont. Montpellier have it. Here's Eric Escond. The try scored to Charlie Wachu. Here's the first receiver. Bit of a fumble. Grabbed it at the second attempt. Escond. There's Payog, a little chip ahead. He's on for Selponi. Selponi battling with that forearm injury. The hack forward from Bias. And back goes Jared Payne.
We talked about trying to cut out those 50-50 passes that are not really on, and Ulster again, as they did for much of that first half, little unforced errors. You see it scrappy at the base of the scrum, again, putting Pinar under all sort of pressure. Excellent, mind you, from his opposite number, and they get the ball back, but this pass is not on. Dupont right in Jared Payne's face, and hands that possession over to the Frenchman.
So there is Jared Payne, the former Northland captain, back home in New Zealand. Line out catch from Bias. There goes Jelly again. Onto Escon, there's Payog. Tutavaki. Well, Nangusa, that was a poor pass from Tutavaki. And it went forward.
Well, Nangusa, he just looked up just as he's got a wry smile, but he looked up at the advancing white defensive line. It's a poor left to right pass here. Tutavaki would be disappointed with that. You just see the little glance.
Yes, Tutavaki capped 6 times by the All Blacks, all of those in a matter of a few months in 2008. And that pass perhaps the reason why he didn't play again in 2009 and after that. He's a much better player than that, believe me.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
So Ravenhill has gone a little quiet. They do have the 2 tries, they have the 7-point lead. And there's the nod and the wink from Wayne Barnes. We don't get the yes 9 anymore.
I know he came at you and you came at
Non-verbal
him.
gesture at scrum time.
Come in. Don't chase the hit. Yeah, okay, just don't.
Yes, it's going to change from official to official. It's going to be a bit like being at Sotheby's on a Tuesday afternoon, isn't it?
Perfect.
Over the course of the next few weeks, we'll pick up what the signals are.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
There we go, you saw the signal from Barnes. Penalty to Montpellier.
Your feet went away from you as the drive came on.
Great scrum from Montpellier, and it's the pack that has laid the platform for the performance so far this evening. Been very, very impressed with the hooker, Gillet. He's been good in the tight, big ball carrier. Of course, made that break for Charlie Watshu's try, and putting what is a much vaunted Ulster scrum under real pressure there.
Yeah, Charles Jelly certainly making his case to be the first choice hooker. They've got 3 who are pretty much of a muchness, who normally wear 2 on their back. Michael Evaldi, who's on the bench. He's a former France under-20 captain, former Toulon player. And they've also got Thomas Bionchamp, who last season was playing his rugby up at Racing Metro. Well, here is Eric Esconde, just 21. Played for France in the Junior World Championship in the summer of 2012. Well, he had a couple of wobbly moments last weekend off the kicking tee at Brive. But you have to say here at Ravenhill, he certainly is putting boot to ball very effectively. Fabien Galtier alongside there one of his 2 assistants, that's Stéphane Glas, the former Stade Francais player, also former France international. There is Esconde.
There's one thing being in discipline, but if you want it best to be in the right parts of the pitch for you. Virtually every penalty that Ulster have given away has been within kicking range and has given Montpellier an opportunity to score 3 points.
Nangusa there coming through and hitting Paddy Jackson very hard. This time on to Gilroy. 5 metres inside the Montpellier half, or at least they were. A lot of pleading and eventually advantage being played there to Ulster. Jackson with the high ball on Flosh. Cavy's through on it. That was well taken by Flosh, but they'll come back for the penalty. And there's another Montpellier player down. And that looks a bit like Thomas Kombazu, I think.
Well, despite the penalty, been very impressed with how Montpellier have picked up the ball carriers. Williams, every time Williams carried the ball in that first half, he got hit by at least one, sometimes double tackles. Roger Wilson again lined up there. They've picked off the carriers very, very well, thrown themselves into the tackle. Ulster haven't had much change on that area, and I wonder at what stage we're going to see Ian Henderson take the pitch. Big ball carrier will undoubtedly come off the bench.
Well, as Thomas Kombazu regains his senses. Let's take a look at what's coming up on Sky Sports tomorrow. It's a marvellous Saturday afternoon of Heineken Cup action. Quins against Clermont. That's a massive one. 1 o'clock on Sky Sports 2. Meanwhile, over on the red button, the match, the other half of this pool, of course, Treviso against Leicester. Leicester eyes will be watching this in Italy as well as in the East Midlands. Leicester know whatever happens here, they've got to do a job against Treviso. Toulon against Cardiff Blues. Toulon in trouble. They were beaten at home last week by Grenoble. Will Cardiff Blues feel the force? That's at 3:40 on Sky Sports 2. And then Gloucester Munster. That's tomorrow, 6 o'clock, Sky Sports 2. It's a cracking afternoon of Heineken Cup action. The penultimate weekend in the pool phase. It all starts here at Ravenhill. Ulster have the chance to be the first of the 8 qualifiers for the quarter-finals. A long way from getting the job done, though. They lead Montpellier by 20 points to 16. We're inside the last half hour. Rory Best, Bias was reaching out. Palm back there by Court. There's Pinar. Gilroy getting caught. Henry going through, looking for the support. It was Wilson who was coming through. Tuatavaki came through and apprehended his man, but it's going to be a scrum and an Ulster ball.
That was brilliant from Chris Henry, and it had to be. It's once again scrappy line. Ulster taking the big decision to go for a touch. And not looking after Ruan Pinar. Experienced Springbok international, not be happy having to scramble back like that. And again, they're chasing it from then on, but terrific clearing up from Henry, and almost thinks about it.
Yes, Chris Henry, one of those players on the return from injury, his second game back after a 2-month absence because of a hamstring injury. Certainly looking very fit. He made 13 tackles against Montpellier in that tremendous win at the Stade de Manoir.
He's a smart player, follows the ball very well. Always seems to be there for the offload, or just the tracking back for the tackle. In there also, very tough at the breakdown. Real boost also that he's back to form and fitness.
Well, Muller fumbling it, gathered by Beattie. Here's Escond, back to Payog. Payog, who had a tremendous game in the round 6 match last year, which Montpellier had to win against Toulon to qualify for the quarter-finals. Payog, man of the match performance there. Here he is wearing his orange boots. Well, he's gone to ground. He thought he was taken down by Gilroy.
That's a brilliant kick from Marshall. Brilliant, right deep down into the 22, well angled, and you see the meters he gets from that.
Yes, Escond was operating from a tight angle, also under pressure from Jared Payne.
Marshall knew exactly wanted to just punched it straight down that channel. Lovely weight and angle. That's off the left peg as well. That is a tough clearance kick.
Luke Marshall, 3 Heineken Cup tries this season. Here's Jackson. There's Marshall again. Combative as ever. In sight of the Montpellier 22. Forward goes Wilson. Edging their way closer. Great hands for Jackson, even better from Payne. Payne looked for the inside ball. Thought better of it. The pressure really coming now from Ulster. There's Pinar, onto his captain Muller. The former Sharks teammates. Jackson, the little grubber through, that's meant for Cave! And then it's loose. And was that fumbled forward? The ball's still there. Well, the ball has gone forward. Well, that is something of a rehearsed move from Ulster. I saw that being tried out last week with, again, Cave after it, and it almost worked.
Again, we saw the difficulties that a bobbling ball provides in the first half. For Pinar's trying here, lovely grubber kick through. It just didn't quite pop up. I wonder whether if Cave had actually attacked it, maybe a clash of heads there between Trimble and Gilroy. Maybe if Cave had just attacked it a little bit more, caught it on that bounce, but by far the best passage of play from Ulster so far in this game, set up by a beautiful piece of skill by Jared Payne.
Well, that's as things stand in Pool 5. If Ulster win this, 22 points. Leicester would be in second place with 15, but of course Leicester have that game in hand again tomorrow against Treviso. There is a Montpellier player down, and it looks to me like Anthony Flosh. Yes, it is, and he's looking in a fair degree of discomfort. Well, every precaution being taken about the welfare of the fullback. Anthony Flosh, who moved during the summer from Clermont, where he'd spent the previous 12 seasons, earned caps for France while he was there. Hasn't really happened for him yet at Montpellier, but here comes the change, and off goes Craig Gilroy, and he's replaced by Mike Allen. Allen, who came through the Ulster Academy.
Well, it's a beautiful pass from Jackson here. Nangusa comes up, shoots up, tries to stop it. Jackson gets away. What a piece of skill from Jared Payne. Keeps the movement going. And here it's about just getting the runners, trying to get over the gain line. Montpellier struggling to realign this defence.
Well, Anthony Flosh is continuing for Montpellier. They do have Pierre Berard stripped off over on the far side. I think a change may be happening shortly.
Okay, but he lost his body shape first.
But the pressure released by that penalty being awarded by Wayne Barnes. Well, you've got to hand it to this essentially second string Montpellier lineup. They have tested Ulster, well, every bit as much as Leicester did here on the opening night.
They have. They've really frustrated Ulster. Ulster have not helped themselves, mind you. But Montpellier, they come here. I think there was a... So we were wondering how unpredictable these French are, but they've really come there. They've taken it to Ulster. Their defence has been superb. They scrapped for everything.
Another catch from Trimble under that high ball.
Nobody at home down there.
Well, back scuttles Escond. He's got Flosh coming across, but the bounce has gone the line. And a forward like a sprinter. Well, well, well. What a sight. It landed in his grasp. Well, he leaves Ulster at the end of the season. He will never, though, forget that moment.
Well, he'll want to make a massive impact while he remains here. Great vision, loads of space. You see Payne, he sensed it, he chased it, bounced the ball. How often have we seen it this evening? Payne will claim that as an assist. Usain Bolt, a four may not be, but he knew where the line was. Put his ears back. Wouldn't like to make that tackle on the line either.
Well, he doesn't have the stride length of Usain Bolt, but the cadence, the rate at which his legs cross.
I think that was a non-verbal gesture for oxygen on the floor there.
Well, John Afoa may need oxygen, but I can tell you that third try for Ulster has breathed life into their challenge to become the first side into the final eight. They need just one more try and the win. They will guarantee their spot at least of being one of the best two runners-up. Montpellier have made that change at full-back. Anthony Flosh has gone off. He's been replaced by Pierre Berard. And also on for Ulster wearing 17, Callum Black. He has come on for Tom Court. A high ball from Pienaar. Underneath it is BT and also Trimble. Brilliant catch from the wing. Here's the try scorer, the most recent of them, Arfoa. Jackson was spotted. Great work there from Montpellier. They've shown their resilience tonight. Here's Nangusa. Advantage being played here to Montpellier. Hugo's Quercy. There's BT. Referee says the advantage is over. Esconde. Dupont. They're within 5 metres here on Montpellier. They've worked so hard for the first hour. They're not going to let it slip now. Bias this time. There's Esconde. Good work from Dayak. Look at Charles Jelly right in the thick of it again. On to Lele Malafunga. Well, eventually Ulster wore them down.
Super competition for the ball on the ground. Rory Best getting the plaudits there. Trimble, as he's been all evening, absolutely superb in the air. Such a physical presence, gets right up in Johnny Beattie's face. Beautiful presentation of the ball as well. Finishes it from start to finish, but the pass from Afoa just isolates Paddy Jackson, I think it is. Man and ball just gets driven back, and from then on, Montpellier attack.
Here's that tackle on Jackson coming from the new man, Pierre Berard. So we're into the final quarter. Ulster 3/4 of the way to the try bonus point.
Well, they said they'd focus simply on the victory, not worry about the bonus point until the opportunity arose. Well, it's staring them in the face now. Final quarter of the game, almost 20 minutes. You see, left to right, Neil Doak, Mark Anscombe, Johnny Bell. They'll be looking for this bonus point. They'll be disappointed if they don't get it now.
Well, Ulster have changed both their props on now. Callum Black and Declan Fitzpatrick.
The man I'd want to see coming on now is Ian Henderson. Big ball carrier, breaks gain lines, tackles, offloads. He's a big, big guy to come off the bench.
Yes, Henderson started in that win last weekend against Munster. And, well, he must have been listening to you, Tyrone, because Henderson is now stripped off. Expecting him on in the next couple of minutes. Pienaar will look to fire this down the touchline. Setting up the line out inside the Montpellier 22. There is Henderson.
Well, just remembering it, not dissimilar positions to Pony. The Montpellier 10 was disappointed. He only got about 8, 9, 10 metres on his kick. That's exactly Pienaar showing again the skill and experience. Gets Ulster deep down into the 22. Henderson coming off the bench. He is a big, big impact player.
So changes being made to the front row now for Montpellier. On comes Mikhail Nariashvili, also Peya Fanunu. And there is the alteration for Ulster. Off goes the captain, Johan Miller, replaced by Ian Henderson. It's gone to Charles Jelly. Jelly getting through the first tackle. Henry it is who takes him down. 18 minutes to go. Ulster have got 3 tries. Tuatavaki there on to Nangusa.
Well, when Ulster have got into those crucial attacking positions, their set pieces slightly let them down that line out. They got a penalty at the scrum before then.
Esconde, Payog, Kombazu looking outside and saw Tuatavaki, who was being well covered there by the Ulster.
Try and hold him up here. Best is in there again.
Well, you got to hand it, haven't you, to Rory Best. Playing his first game of rugby since November the 24th.
Jackson does well. Knows that he can't get him to ground, instead goes to try and hold him up. And as soon as you hear Wayne Barnes say, Maul called. It's like piranhas around that ball.
Well, they're probably a bit bigger than piranhas, but they're certainly hunting in big numbers, aren't they?
The crowd, it's exactly like going to any of the major venues around Ireland. The crowd, they know their rugby, they know the impact that another try would make. They'd love to send them off to Welford Road with a bonus point victory in the bag.
And beyond that, many people here are already beginning to dream of the potential of a home quarter-final. And when this place is fully finished, and to capacity, around about 18,000, it'll be quite an atmosphere, won't it?
Well, I suspect that the Tigers might quite fancy having a big say about that.
Yes, 24,000 at Welford Road. They make a lot of noise.
Hit high, square.
One of the toughest places to go in world rugby. 16 minutes remain. Ulster have still got a job to finish off here. They need to win the match.
Set.
And they will certainly be looking for that fourth try. Pinard gets the instruction. Good work again there from Montpellier. It's BT who hacks it on. Dupont's after it. Well, that was wonderful work in defence there from Pinard. Onto the ball and straight back to his feet.
Hands off, White.
Well, Montpellier have it. Bias just got a little shove out of the way. There it is for Jelly. There's Farnunu. Huge man, Farnunu. They used to call him Canterbury's virtual brick wall. Nothing virtual about it. Escond. They're in possession but going backwards at the moment. Tuivasa tries to alter that. That's the Ulster 22. They've got a penalty.
Well, if Montpellier had watched the video from last week, DVD, I'm sure, modern times, they might just fancy putting this ball into the corner, because it was one of the aspects that Ulster struggled against Munster. Instead, it looks as if they're going to go for the 3 points, still fancying their chances just to get within striking range if they can get within 7 points.
Well, Fabien Galtier, since he's been in charge of Montpellier, has not caught himself in the middle of such a wretched run as this. They've won just one of their last 7 matches, and that was at home to the bottom club in the top 14, Biarritz. In that 7-match period, they've lost at home to Castres, away to Racing Metro, away and at home to Leicester in this competition, away to Toulon. They were very heavily beaten, and now, well, they can't slot the 3 points. The magic has gone out of the boots.
But from this point, with 14 minutes to go, if Montpellier can even hold Ulster out and away from the four tries, they'll almost feel that that might even just be like a moral victory.
Well, they're certainly looking for a psychological lift after a dreadful run of form. Here's Payog. Oh, and it's charged down. That man Pinard again getting through. There goes Charlie Watchu. Back from Escon, and Payog loses it. And here is the hack ahead, and could Pinard? The bounce falls for Pinard! Can he get it down? Well, I suspect that Wayne Barnes is going to direct a question at the TMO here. Let's listen to it. How is this phrased?
Sean Barnesy, look, just double check there wasn't a knock on in the build up to that. And then grounding, try, yes or no.
Okay, so the knock on in the build up and try yes or no. Stand by.
So the 2 elements, and it's yes or no for the second one.
2 big impacts in the game. First of all, Pinard charged the ball down, then again there, gets involved. It it bounced it well. Can't complain about the bounce, but he gets flipped over in the tackle. Terrific tackle here Combazu does marvellously well.
Well, you can see through there. Benoit Payoga's done his bit. Pierre Berard.
Certainly from that. Well, this might show us more.
Yes, it's Berard who's held him up.
It doesn't look as if that ball is down. I think there's an arm at least underneath it. Even when the pressure comes on from the Ulster players.
Wayne, it's Sean.
1 second. Yeah, go ahead, mate.
Okay. There's no knock on, and the ball was held up.
Okay, so scrum 5 metre attacking ball.
Correct.
Thank
So
you.
there's the judgment from Sean
scrum
Davey.
5 metres, no second.
Well, Pierre Berard is the Montpellier man who made the difference. Ruan Pinard knows that he must gather himself here because they do have another opportunity.
Well, it was the right call, but the experience and class of Ruan Pinard has had an increasing influence in this game as it's worn on. It's really the perfect attacking platform. Less than 5 metres from the line, almost in the middle of the pitch.
Well, there is that sense of expectation around Ravenhill.
Bind. Set.
The cries of heave, we're going to have to see it all again.
Ball just came
Well,
straight.
when they've been in these positions, the scrum has been letting them down. Interestingly, Ulster,
Come away from that.
they took off Tom Court, replaced him with Callum Black. A few penalties coming on that side. They need a solid platform here. Plenty of space for Payne. They decide to go open.
Straight, make sure. It's good, both teams. Yep.
Oh, Jerry Payne looks fairly relaxed. He's having a few words there with Andrew Trimble.
Bind. Set.
Well, the Ulster players, the back line spread across the full width. The penalty goes the way of Montpellier.
Number 3, across and down. Yeah, you can go.
Well, it's Declan Fitzpatrick who's been penalised. One or two scrum problems creeping in for Ulster.
Well, that's 3 on the bounce that Ulster have given away at scrum. 10, I think, so far in this game. And invariably, teams try to keep penalty count down to single figures and if possible, low single figures.
Yours, fellas, okay?
You can't complain. They've had these opportunities deep in the Montpellier 22. It's all about taking your chances.
Well, that's Rob Herring and Sean Doyle preparing to come on. That'll be a change at hooker, a change in the back row.
The Ulster coaching staff are sitting very close to us. They were all on their feet when Pinard went through. Their backs hit the wall when they saw that scrum penalty coming along.
Well, eventually that went the way of Ulster. And that's a wonderful kick. The flight on that from Paddy Jackson. A piercing flight. The weight on it superb.
And the coaches are back on their feet again. Magnificent kick from Jackson. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. Judged the flight, angle, pace perfectly. Big opportunities. Well, Anscombe's cool. Oh, he's on his feet.
Well, he's making 2 more changes. On comes Herring. On comes Doyle. Off goes Henry. And Rory Best on his return. His job is done. We're all set to go. Jelly. Eventually it comes back the way of Montpellier. Not the way it was intended, though, I suspect. We're in the last 10 minutes. Ulster have got 3 tries. They lead by 11. Here's Escond. You hear the cries of there, no penalties, stay onside. Trimble went for it. But it is Montpellier who will have the pudding. Well, even when it looks as if he's got no chance of catching it, Andrew Trimble gets very, very close.
Well, he's just a hungry rugby player. Physically, enormously strong, pacey, but it's his hunger. He just attacks the ball. He wants to challenge and compete every single time he's close to the ball.
And let's be frank, the bravery as well.
It's fair to say, Martin, there is a lot of tension in this stadium.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Well, the power again applied by Ulster, and they've got the penalty. It's that final sprint for the line. They need the win. They want the 4th try. They're desperate for the 5 points.
Well, the pack came together, really focused. You'd expect this to go to the corner, set up. Well, you wonder, will this? Well, I can't imagine this is going to come out the backs. The forwards, you see Paddy Jackson talking to them, the forwards are going to want to finish this off.
Well, there you can see Anne Miller, and also alongside him, Tom Court. They sense they're almost there. Almost within touching distance. The first part has gone to plan. Outburst Sean Doyle. The clean jersey with 21 on the back. There's Pinar. Out to Jackson. The long pass. Into 2-on-1. Great hands from Payne. And up for the corner.
Well, was that foot in touch? Once again, magnificent from Payne, keeping the move alive.
Try yes or no.
Try yes or no.
Is that left foot in touch? Big physical play from Michael Allen. Bounces the first guy. Oh, left foot in touch. The crowd know it. You can hear the gasps. Terrific defence from Montpellier, mind you.
Wayne, Sean here. His foot and touch first. Love it.
Well, this conclusion's got everything,
Gap now,
including two TMO calls that have not gone the way of Ulster.
Jared Payne may not have played the enormously influential game that he's played in the last couple of weeks, but he's kept the ball alive.
10.
Pressure on the throw of Jelly. He's gone long. It's to Kersey. Montpellier there in numbers. Back to Berard, who just got the kick away. Didn't come out of the middle. Here's Payne. Opportunity to weigh up the options. He's gone out to Allen. That's the Montpellier 22. It's flown forward. There's Alexandre Bias. The rather laboured and clumsy kick through, but it's effective. Pinard's back, deep in his own half. Here's Pierre Berard. He's got Bias alongside him. Inside the last 6 minutes, it's a knock-on. It will be an Ulster scrum. Ulster will feel now that the victory is secure, but with a view to being the first side into the last 8, and also, of course, it could change the complexion of that final match at Welford Road. And at times like this, the coaching staff will go back to the last couple of minutes on this ground in round 1, when Leicester clinched that losing bonus point. There's Robbie Dyack,
Crouch.
scorer of the first try.
Bind. Set.
5 minutes remain.
Early push.
Early push coming from Montpellier.
That's why it's a free kick.
Free kick rather than a penalty.
Pinar keeping the ball alive.
Roger Wilson.
Yeah, thanks.
Jackson. Darren Cave this time. Dyack flips it up. It was a little fortuitous into the hands there of Trimble. A fumble from Pinar. Cross comes Jared Payne. Good positioning there from Berra, but the bounce making life difficult for him. But he showed patience.
22.
Cool play. Cool play from Berra. 4 minutes to go. Ulster running out of time. They are in the right part of the pitch. You need to build a couple of phases. Even with this length of time, just patience, get your hands on the ball, build a couple of phases.
Well, Fabien Galtier almost more animated than he's been all night. The high bomb from Pinar. Trimble is through and after it. Referee said that didn't go forward off the hands of a Montpellier player. Back is Pinar again. On to Jared Payne, who's got time and space. He's also got Allen alongside him. Covering back this time is Tuatavaki. The clock says 3 minutes to go. Berra with a big hoof. Just finds Cave. Cave the inside ball. Well, there was nobody on the end of it. Gathered eventually by Rob Herring. Forward drives Tui. Jackson. Dummy from Jackson, almost through. 2.5 minutes to go. Luke Marshall. Driven forward, that's the 22 you can see in the background. Long pass out to Allen. Allen has a go. Stays in play. Well, it's a penalty to Ulster. Quickly taken by Pinar. They've not gone back 10 metres. There's an advantage here.
Okay, no advantage.
Oh.
9 wasn't 10.
You thought Pinar had just taken it too quickly there. Might have settled. He knew where he was in the pitch. Knew he had that 10-metre. They've got a second chance at it. They've had plenty of opportunities. This might well be the last one.
The clock freezes. 122 seconds remain. They've got the 3 tries. They need the 4th to be the first side into the last 8. Victory now assured. And if they do fail to get the 4th try and the 5th point, you have to say it changes the complexion, assuming Leicester do a job in Italy tomorrow on that match in the East Midlands in a week's time.
Initial one, entry.
The stakes are high for Ulster. Perhaps the last chance. The catch finds its man. There is the try line. 4 metres away. The drive on, there's the ball. Held up well by Montpellier. Over it there is Callum Black, there's the pickup.
Arrive up, Ulster!
There's the ball being presented for Pinar, who looks up, it's out to Payne! And Trimble, well, the ball was fired around his bootlaces. And it's gone forward, and it will be a Montpellier scrum. And is that the final chance?
You can see the tension etched on the faces of the coaches.
Close
to us here. Ulster have had their chances. You see this, a wide pass. Payne again just tries to get it away. Ulster have played well enough to win this game, but I'm not sure that they played well enough for this 4th try bonus point. They've squandered opportunities. You see the shakes of the head on Anscombe there.
Well, that's a look of resignation, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Leicester supporters, well, we always knew it was going to be a titanic tussle, assuming that Tigers come through against Treviso, but they will be thinking if Ulster do not get this bonus point, even more so, game on.
Well, there's still 50 seconds remaining. It's not simply a job of winning the scrum and firing it into touch. The ball will have to stay alive for 30 or 40 seconds. The clock's running again. Wayne Barnes asked for the watch to be stopped, but we're down to 33 seconds.
Okay, let's reset. I go. Mind when I ask, I'd make sure he doesn't lean on you. I don't pull the bind. Left. Hey, c'est moi. C'est pas un problème. Watch out.
Mikhail Nadiashvili there on the loose head side for Montpellier.
Square 3. Crouch. Bind. Set.
Well, the clock runs again. And now we're down to 15 seconds. And the complexion has changed, really.
Stop the watch a second.
Montpellier now, if they wish, will just win the scrum and fire it into touch.
Okay.
It's so frustrating for Ulster.
It may be frustrating, but the TMO decisions have been absolutely correct. At crucial times, the set piece just has let them down. They haven't had that stability, and it's meant that the errors have crept in. They haven't taken these vital chances that have come their way in the final quarter.
Bind. Set. Yes.
So here it is. The put in from Escond. The surge from Ulster. Can they somehow get their hands on the ball? No, Montpellier have it. Escond fires it into touch. And Ulster have the victory. But they do only have the 3 tries. And you have to say, the immediate reaction at Ravenhill is one of disappointment.
It is. It was a stuttery performance from Ulster. They did not bring their A game here. It was good enough to win the game. 3 tries, the third one coming from a 4 from short distance. But Montpellier came here to play. They came here for a fight, and credit to them. They picked an understrength side, but they didn't let Fabien Galtier down. But my Heineken man of the match is that man, Rohan Pienaar. He got better as the game went on. He gave Ulster the lifeline, gave them the opportunity to go for that final bonus point try, but it just wasn't to be. But Pienaar showed his class.
Well, there it is, Rohan Pienaar, a Heineken Cup man of the match. Ulster, well, 1 or 2 results could still go their way that could take them through this weekend, guaranteed as one of the best runners-up. But they did just fall a little short. They made it 5 wins out of 5. They couldn't get the 5th point. And for Ulster, next stop, Welford Road.
Well, it's a win, but it mightn't quite feel like one just at the moment for Ulster and their fans, in particular Leicester and their fans watching on will sense an opportunity. Montpellier, they went to Ravenhill. They were brave and committed throughout, and they deserved all the plaudits that will come their way, no doubt. They made a real fight of that. Of course, they are still unbeaten, Ulster, and we must remember that. The disappointment comes, of course, because they didn't quite get that bonus point they were after, and they're still odds-on to make their place and take their place in the playoffs. But as it stands right now, they aren't there, and that was something that was within their control. They certainly had enough ball and the opportunities, and an Ulster side on top of their game might just have picked up that 4th try. But, of course, what it'll mean is we'll all head, in all likelihood, to Welford Road with a slightly added edge next week. For now, 5 from 5, 22 points in total. And Leicester still to play, of course, tomorrow over in Italy against Treviso, currently there on 15. And it looks like the other game taking place right now over on the Red Button in Paris is taking place, of course, between the Scarlets and Racing Metro. Now, we followed this game throughout the course as it ran alongside ours. And it looks like the Scarlets have the lead. Christian Phillips, the try scorer for the visitors, and they hold the lead 19 points to 13 with just a couple of minutes to go. So, of course, this particular game doesn't have a bearing on the playoff situations. These 2 sides lower down, they came out of the box and started the competition well with wins themselves, but then have gone on to lose their 2nd, 3rd and 4th games in a row and now are battling it out for pride, and Scarlets certainly have that on the road. But, of course, there's plenty more rugby still to come, live and exclusive throughout the weekend on Sky. Tomorrow, it's a full house. Quins, Claremont. A tough one to pick straight out of the blocks at 1 o'clock. Toulon, Cardiff Blues at 20-4. Connacht Zebra is available on the red button. And the Gloucester Munster game is where we'll be based. King's Home at 6 o'clock. Edinburgh against Perpignan. Sunday, of course, is where it all wraps up. And arguably the tie of the entire round takes place in Toulouse as they host Saracens. So close in Pool 3, 3 o'clock. The kick-off for that one. And Ospreys host Northampton, who still have a sniff and a really tough task in front of Leinster if they want to pick up another trophy in Europe. Red button for their game against Castra. But in terms of the action at Ravenhill, and as the teams clap each other off, slight sense of disappointment, it seems, out of the Ulster fans. Certainly they came and they expected, and they're used to getting what they want.
Yeah, but not only the fans, I think the coaches and I think the players as well. When they were walking off there was an opportunity missed. I thought, on 59 minutes, I thought Ruan Pina had won it for them, and with the bonus point. But he was held up. Wonderful defence, which was a theme really of the day. I thought Montpellier defended particularly well, made it very difficult. I thought their scrum came into their own in the second half, took Ulster's game away from them, didn't have the platform to play off, and they'd be delighted with the win. But when they be back in there, they'll sit down there and go, we haven't got that queue next to our names, and we've got to go to Leicester next week. Saying that though, with 22 points, I expect them to get through to the quarterfinals. Yeah,
we'll have a quick chat to Al in just a moment, but we're grateful to welcome in Ruan Pina, who of course has just been named the Heineken Man of the Match. Many congratulations. Thanks for taking the time, Ruan. We know you've just finished what was a pretty tough tussle. What's the sense of feeling amongst the boys immediately full time there?
Yeah, thank you. It was good to get the win, but I think we're very disappointed with not getting the bonus point there. We had a couple of chances, but they made it tough out there tonight. We just couldn't get our attack going and made a lot of mistakes, gave away too many penalties, and like I said, made it a bit difficult for ourselves.
We spoke to your coach Mark Anscombe before kick-off this evening, and he said that the bonus point hadn't been spoken about in the lead-up to this one. We're not focused on that. It's only about the win. But the way you started out of the blocks, it was a little scrappy. It looked like perhaps you might have been chasing the tries early on. Is that fair comment?
Yeah, I don't think so, really. I think once we got the 2 tries in the first half, we knew the bonus point was in reach for us. Just couldn't get there at the end. Like I said, made a lot of mistakes, gave away a lot of penalties, and at the end of the day, struggled to get in the right side of the park. But happy with the win, we'll take it. But another tough one again next week.
It certainly is. You know Leicester fairly well. You've got a bit of history developing with them. You held them off at your place. What do you think Welford Road holds in store? Of course, they've got Treviso tomorrow. We'll see what happens there, but all things are pointing towards quite some matchup next week.
For sure, it's always a tough place to go to. They're a proud team. They've got a great squad, and it's a tough place to go and play rugby at. But we've got a good team ourselves. We'll work on a lot of things this week. Try to get better, and looking forward to that matchup again. But a lot to work for, a lot to play for, and hopefully we can go down there and give them a run for their money.
Certainly. We are certainly looking forward to it as well. For now, though, Ruan, thank you for taking the time. Congratulations on your own performance as the Heineken Man of Match. Lisa Nolte from Heineken is standing by to hand you over with the prize. And congratulations to your teammates as well. And all the very best of luck with what will no doubt be a tough week ahead. There it is. That can go on the mantelpiece to, I'm sure, go alongside a fair few others. Well done, Ruan. Thanks for taking the time.